All right, hi guys. This video is going to show you how to get started with your online picture book using Book Creator and what you are going to do today. So again, last week, all we worked on was you guys made your own organizer for your fictional narratives. So we wrote kind of some notes for an introduction. We had some sort of inciting action or the problem. You filled out a couple events for the rising action, the climax of the story, the falling action, and the resolution. To start with our goals, we're just going to start just trying to get just the introduction done. And I think the hardest part about doing this is how do you take the little notes you've written and elaborate them into like longer details in multiple pages. So first, before we get into that, I just want to make sure that we can get into Book Creator. So if you go to your to-do list for today, it says sign into Book Creator, and you see how it's blue. Whenever it's blue, you can click it and the little link will come up, and it says, and you're going to sign in with Google, and you're going to use your Google login that you log in for everything, and then your class has a code. So Miss Johnson's class has a code, Mrs. Markloff's class has a code, every class has their own code, so you need to look at your to-do list and type in your code. So when I click here, it'll take me to this website where I sign in. And again, it says student sign in, and it's going to sign in with Google because you guys already have Google accounts. When you sign in, maybe something will pop up and you'll be able to see your, actually, I'm not going to sign up that one. Hang on. You can sign in with your account. I'm going to sign in as myself. And when you sign in, it says join a library, enter the code from your teacher. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here and you have to enter this code. I like to copy and paste it, so I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to go to edit, copy. I'm going to come up here, I'm going to click, and I'm going to go to edit, paste. And then look, there's my code right there, or you could just type it in, and I'm going to hit go. When I join in, I can see that there are books in this library. So here's my book as Miss Johnson. You're going to create your own book, okay? So you're going to click new book, and then you are going to create the book that you want to create. We're not creating comics, which are down here. These are your three options for the book. This is just like how big you want your book to be. I just made my book landscape. You can pick. I don't think it matters which one you want to do. And then this is the cover of the book. So what I did first is I wanted to make like a name for the book. So I just wanted to insert, I put the little plus sign and I wanted a text. And I called mine STEM Challenge, which is what I did. And I named it. If you want to add, use the pen to like draw on it. If you have like an iPad, you can like draw on your book if you want to. You can play around with this. You can add record yourself saying something on this page. You can add a picture or something to this page. If you click on the little eye, you can change like the color of the background. I thought it was cool. You could come down here and there's all these different backgrounds right here. So like there's paper backgrounds that look like this. There's borders. You can give your book a border. There's patterns. You can give it a pattern backdrop. There's textures. This is one that I use for mine. There's lots of cool stuff that you can choose, okay? So you can, again, make your title, and then you can put it there, and you can move it around. And then if you want to make it bigger, you just, if you click the little eye here, so you can slide this, you can make it bigger, you can center it, you can change the font of it, you can change the color of it, you can do all of that stuff here. And then I put like by my name, so I added another little text and I put by. And you can write your name there. And then the same thing, so you can drag it and move it. And again, oops, if you want to change it, I click little I. Again, you can change things. Oh boy, that's too big. And you can play around with it. Once you get your cover page done, maybe if you're like, oh, I don't really know, you can wait for that later. You can click this little next arrow. And then this is like the first page of your book. So when you want to go actually write words for the book, you have to add the text here. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to need two things open on your computer. You're going to need open. So if you have lots of tabs, you can X out of them. You only are going to need open your organizer. So let me get rid of all my other stuff. You're going to need your organizer and your book, this that you're working on. So the hardest part is to take what you've written your introduction, and then put it into words. You're not like copying and pasting this. You need to introduce your story. So if my characters are Rachel, the fourth grader, she's the main character, Timmy, Sam, Kelsey, and then the teacher, Miss Dwyer. So in the setting, it's fourth grade, and I already know my theme is that I want her in the end, Rachel, to learn about teamwork. So I have to introduce it. So I'm thinking I have to kind of introduce the setting, and I want to start with some sort of like hook or like something to get the person excited into reading. I also decided I wanted it to be in third person point of view. I wanted it to be a narrator. Maybe you want your main character to be first person and you want them to tell the story, or maybe you want it to be a narrator. You get to decide. And then I'm going to start typing however I want my book to start. So I'm going to show you the one that I actually made so that you can see. So here is my actual book that I started. So it's called STEM Challenge by Miss Johnson. I included like a picture of, it's about a catapult. Here's my intro. And then here's my first page. So it says, all right, everyone, we are going to do a STEM challenge today to test what we have learned about simple machines, exclaimed Miss Dwyer, the fourth grade teacher at Rosewood Elementary. Rachel, who was sitting in the back of the class bored out of her mind, suddenly perked up with interest because doing a STEM activity was definitely better than listening to Miss Dwyer talk about something boring in science class. So I've introduced at this point the setting that they're in fourth grade, that they're going to be doing a STEM thing, that the teacher's name, and that Rachel is kind of the main character. Then over here I said, can we pick our own groups? Rachel shouted as she lounged on the green beanbag. The other kids nodded along, hoping that Miss Dwyer would say yes. Miss Dwyer seemed to think it over for a second, and you could tell she was mentally thinking of the pros and cons of letting the kids pick who they work with. Rachel didn't really want to work in a group and preferred working alone, but knew Miss Dwyer wouldn't let her, so she thought picking her own group would be the next best thing. So I already am, again, I'm describing the setting, and I'm describing how Rachel doesn't want to be work with other kids because I already know that teamwork's going to be a challenge for her. Then I said, after what felt like 10 years, she finally said, how about I use a random group generator to pick groups to make it fair for everyone? I don't want anyone feeling left out, and I only want you to work in groups of 4. Maybe you will get lucky and be paired with one of your friends. A few kids groaned, including Rachel, but most of them didn't care as long as they got to do the STEM challenge. Miss Dwyer typed all the kids' names in the generator, and every kid in the class was staring at the board waiting to see who would be in their group. All right, said Miss Dwyer, let's see who our groups are. She clicked the green generate button, and everyone's names suddenly appeared on the screen in groups of 4. You could hear shouting across the room as the kids ran to find their group members, and overall, everyone seemed really excited to get started. Rachel stared at the screen, thinking her group actually wasn't too bad. She liked Kelsey and often played with her at recess, and Timmy and Sam wouldn't care what they did because they would be too busy fooling around since they were best friends. And then that's my introduction. So again, I've talked about each character in my introduction. I've talked about the setting, and I've started to introduce the theme, which is, again, she's not going to learn until the end, but the idea of teamwork. I took out like 4 pages to do the introduction. You can do 1 page, you can do 2 pages, you can do 3, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure that whoever you're writing, that you get to introduce who the characters are. You already made that character sheet that talked about like character traits and maybe what your character looked like, so you can do that. Then once I feel like that looks good, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, this page is going to be my inciting action, where I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to use what I wrote for my inciting action to kind of introduce the problem. Then I said this page will be rising action 1, and I'm going to, obviously this is my organizer, I'm going to make that way better and a lot better written. This is going to be rising action 2, this will be rising action event 3. Again, I'm going to keep going, there'll be the climax of the story and the falling action, and I'll keep going through the story. Your only goal right now is to try to get like just your cover and maybe 1 page of your introduction done, okay? So as you go, if you want to, while you're going, add pictures, you can. So if I want to, I think I'm in the wrong account. Let me switch out. If you want to edit yours and add pictures, you can work on that as well. But first, I need you to just work on getting your kind of book set up and getting some of your introduction down. So again, if I wanted to add a picture, I can add some color to my pages. If I wanted to add a picture, I could draw one. So I could paint a picture, pretend that I'm painting something, and you could draw a picture right here, which I think is really cool, okay? So work on this. Your goal is to get your introduction, just this, done. Don't worry about anything else, just your introduction done. And again, use the class code, work really hard on this, Zoom your teacher if you have questions about how to elaborate. But again, you're introducing the characters, and you're trying to introduce the setting, and you're trying to paint a picture for the reader of where the story is taking place. All right, good luck, guys.